Does rosemary oil help with hair loss? This is a reasonable question because, guys, it is all over the Googler Schmoogler. It is everywhere. I'm sure you've seen it. Well, let me first start by telling you about a study done in 2015. It was a study that wanted to see if rosemary oil could be effective in the treatment of androgenetic alopecia. It's a very common type of alopecia, hair loss that can occur in men and women. And it wanted to compare rosemary oil to minoxidil 2%. Now, in the study, about 100 participants, 50 were given rosemary oil, 50 were given minoxidil 2%. And basically, the results showed, believe it or not, that both groups actually experienced a significant increase in hair count at the 6-month endpoint compared with the baseline. This is kind of a big deal in the sense that, well, number one, what am I saying? What I'm saying is that in this particular study, it did show that both rosemary oil folks using the rosemary oil and the minoxidil, both groups had a significant increase in hair count. Now that is very promising. It's one of the reasons why I think we're seeing rosemary oil all over the Googler Schmoogler and people are saying to use it. Okay, couple thoughts about it though, okay? It was a small study. It'd be nice to have more studies, etc. But at least this is a study that we have. And you know I'm always saying, oh, we don't have enough evidence to say yada yada blah blah blah. So this is something, okay? Other things to keep in mind though when it comes to rosemary oil or using something like this for your hair is that different preparations of rosemary oil, just like sort of any supplement or sort of herbal or things like that, those are not tightly regulated by the Food and Drug Administration. So sometimes you can even get variations between the same type of product, right? Even the same brand, because there's not necessarily a lot of oversight, right? So different products, different brands may vary in terms of concentration. What I'm trying to say here is that there's a lot of potential variables. But going back down to the baseline concept, there's at least a study here, and this is just one that I've looked at, one that's widely quoted, that suggests that perhaps in some people, rosemary oil may be as effective as minoxidil 2%. Now, keep in mind also that minoxidil 2% is not the highest strength. That is an FDA-approved medication for certain types of hair loss, okay? So we don't know how rosemary oil would compare with minoxidil of a higher percentage. But once again, I'm still actually happy we have a study because usually I'm coming to you saying we just don't have a lot of evidence. And here we don't have a lot of evidence either, but there's something. So I want to give it that, okay? What I would also say about this is that I just want to remind folks, like the family doctor in me wants to remind you that there are many causes of hair loss. This particular study was looking at people with androgenetic hair loss, okay? But there's other types of hair loss from other things. Autoimmune diseases can cause hair loss. Vitamin deficiencies can cause hair loss. Thyroid conditions. Other types of things, certain types of hairstyles, etc. So what I want you to do is number one, I do believe it's fair to consider something like rosemary oil in conjunction with discussing with your doctor, because I'm always going to say that. But I would also say, and this is what I do as a family doctor, if somebody comes to me complaining of hair loss, what I do is I order some baseline labs, I'm checking a few things, but I'm also referring them to dermatology for an expert opinion, okay? Those are the specialists who deal with hair loss in particular. So you want to make sure that you are getting a comprehensive opinion. And let's say I don't want you to go out and like use rosemary oil because I told you that it might have some efficacy and say, oh, it didn't work. Okay, that's it. No, really, you should be seeing the appropriate specialist, which would be, I would say, your family doctor you start with, but you need to see a dermatologist. You need to get a proper workup. You need to make sure you know exactly why you have hair loss. There are different types of hair loss that can be caused by different things. And depending on what the hair loss is due to, the treatment is very likely going to be different as well. So I wanted to say that, but I do, look, I'm glad that, I can say there actually is a little bit of evidence for something that we're seeing online, because I can't often say that. I'm interested to know, are you guys using rosemary oil? Have you used it? Have you found a positive effect with it? The other thing I would say too is with anything that you use sort of topically, whether it's an oil, a supplement, etc., it's always possible to have what we call an irritation, scalp irritation, skin irritation, etc. So if you choose to use something like this, you want to be very cautious. Make sure that you don't experience anything like that. I still say, consult your doctor. I still think it's a good idea, okay? But a little bit of sort of good news on the horizon. Hopefully we have more studies, though, as time goes on. There may be more out there. This was just one that I've been made aware of, and other dermatologists and doctors have talked about, and I think it's important to mention. Let me know if you use or have used rosemary oil. Let me know if you use other hair loss, like FDA-approved hair loss treatments. And I should also say that, too, in addition to finding out the underlying cause, there are FDA-approved treatments as well that are prescription. So I want you to know that, or some prescription, some not. I want you to understand that and make sure you are talking to your doctor about hair loss. Do not suffer in silence. Hair loss can be quite devastating. For most everyone who experiences it. So don't go about this alone. Guys, I hope this is helpful. Let me know what you do, what you think, what you know, what your experience is in the comments. Please share this video with anyone who might benefit from it. I hope this is helpful. I'm Dr. Jen Caudle, practicing family physician, on-air health expert and video creator. I do daily videos on Facebook. Please like and follow my page on YouTube. Please subscribe to my channel. Click the little bell for updates. I have membership groups on both YouTube and Facebook and Instagram. I do private lives every Wednesday. So check that out. Also, I'm on TikTok, Instagram, etc. Dr. Jen Caudle. Finally, please go to my website, drjencaudle.com, to sign up for my free health newsletter. Guys, I'm Dr. Jen. See you soon.